Aloha, my name is Fred Vanderpeer and I'm Executive Director with Paradise Dental Technologies, otherwise known as PDT Inc. We're going to be looking at a demonstration right now with the Ultimate Edge Kit, the PDT Gleason Guide, and the Ultimate Transformation Kit. This is one of the most popular and definitely the most easy to use dental hygiene perio instrument sharpening system that we have in dentistry today. In my hands right now we have the PDT Gleason Guide, which is the actual infrastructure around the angulation of the instruments themselves. On one side here you will see Gracie. On the other side here it says Universal Sickle. And these slots and bars are what keeps your instruments perfectly angulated each time. Another component for your transformation kit is this brown stone. It's made out of ceramic, alumina oxide, and it is a slightly coarser stone, great for reshaping those old instruments, the Gracies that have become a little bit sickled, and the instruments you've turned that bevel in a bit. And of course here we have our PDT Diamond Head stone, which is an ultrafine stone. It's made of, again, comprised of ceramic and alumina oxide. And this is a wonderful stone because it gives you a great honed edge on your instruments without removing a lot of metal. So it actually increases the life of your instruments quite a bit. Last but not least is the PDT Ping Ring. And this little fella right here just slides onto your hand. And instead of using your fingernails or anything else, you can just roll over and check that cutting edge with the ping ring. Now we'll move on to the actual use of the guide. Now the way to use the Ultimate Edge Kit or the Gleason Guide and or a Transformation Kit is quite simple. First, take your stone and place it in your other hand, which means if you're right-handed, place it in your left. If you're left-handed, place it into your right. And then take the guide and place it right on top of that stone. Now what we're going to do first is we're going to sharpen a Gracie 1314. So I have the Gracie side showing on the instrument here. Now what we're going to do with the Gracie 1314 is we're going to take the back of the blade, which runs parallel to the guide, and we're going to stick the back of the blade right into the guide itself, like so. Now I'm just rolling this up for you to see. The next thing we're going to do is bring the terminal shank down to touch the rest. So you stop, you rest, and you sharpen. You can move it a little bit on a heel to toe motion, the back being on the toe, the front being on the heel, slightly rocks a bit. And what you're doing is you're sharpening the entire blade of that Gracie at the same time. So as it wears down, it is not going to wear down as if you're sharpening the instrument, of course, from heel to toe, whereas we manually manipulate that Gracie itself. Now, after we've sharpened the blade on the Gracie, if we ever want to bevel the toe, now I do want to make the comment that you're not going to be shaping the toe as often as you have been in the past, because this sharpens it in such an even fashion all the way across the blade. It tends to wear down on a more even basis. But when it is time to blend the toe, you'll take it right down the toe slide here. You'll take the face of the blade and run it down the toe slide. And from that area right there, you'll just rock the instrument back and forth as you move it from side to side. What we're doing, the rocking, is giving that toe the nice round blend, and of course the 45 is creating the rest of the bevel on the back of the blade itself to make it a little more comfortable when you go subgingival. Okay, next we're going to sharpen a sickle. I have an H67 in my hand here. So what we're going to do is move it around to the universal and sickle side. And all we do is roll it around like that. And again, what we're going to do with this is take the back of the blade and place it in. So you'll notice that the instrument itself is running parallel with the guide. So you stop, and then of course you bring it down to rest. And now you'll go heel, toe, heel, toe. I will show you that movement a little bit better. Hope that camera shot has got it right there. We just stop, rest, and look at the way my hand works. We're on the heel now, we're on the toe now. You kind of work it just like you would a single chopstick, I guess. And the great thing about this is because you're sharpening that entire blade, it gets thinner and thinner instead of shorter and shorter as you sharpen it down. So you still have that interproximal access on the anteriors without getting that handle in the way of the patient's face and what have you. To do the other side, you just stop, rest, and go the other way. And then you can move the instrument over and do it again. Now, if you try to take the instrument too far into the rest position, which would be close in the face of the blade, what you'll notice is it will lift right off of the stone. It's kind of a little safety guide there to say, no, 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 you cannot close the face of this cutting edge. So there you go. There's our sickle, back and forth, heel to toe. Next, we're going to be working on a universal curette. I have in my hand here a Barnhart 5.6. It's very reminiscent as well of a Columbia 1314. On the east and west coast, these are probably the two most popular of the universal curettes, and that's why we've chosen these. Of course, as you can see here again, we take it to the universal and sickle side. So what we're going to do with the Barnhart, of course, is take the back of the blade again, the back of the blade, and run it parallel again. Always run the blade parallel with the guide. And you stop, you bring it down to rest, and you sharpen. Now, some of you may find on some of your curettes, the back sweep on the low side of the curette is a little bit difficult to sharpen. And what you're going to do with that is you just bring the edge of it flush with the stone. And again, you just run that back of the blade in, bring the terminal shank down to rest on there, and sharpen the instrument. It sharpens absolutely every instrument you want. Now, again, to shape the toe, if you want to blend the toe, you just back the instrument or back the guide up onto the ceramic stone, and again, you will run this parallel down with the face, and then just roll that instrument back and forth. Now, I'm a fella and I have a little bit of trouble chewing gum and crossing the street at the same time. I know I've seen some people take the instrument and both roll it and move it at the same time. I just find it a little bit easier to do it this way. But that's one of the beauties about this system. There isn't, you know, there's several ways of sharpening and coming up with the, of course, same product, same quality product when you're finished. Now, I do want to discuss one more thing with you. I'd like to discuss the reshaping. Some of you may have, let's say, an Arkansas type of stone or a coarser type stone of good quality, of good flat stone with no pits or grooves in it. And if you want to shape any of your old instruments, what you can do is you take this, stop, rest on the coarser stone. Now listen to this. What we're doing is we're removing metal off of that instrument and reshaping it. Now, I believe that you only need to reshape an instrument once if you're using this system. After that, you continue on just honing your instrument's edge after that. And again, that's going to increase the life of your instrument. Now remember everything we've talked about. Simply stop, rest, and glide your way to an incredibly sharp instrument with great shape. What is that going to mean to you as a practitioner? It's going to mean better adaptation, longer instrument life, more comfort for you as well as the patient, and possibly, just possibly, less stress, reducing the risk of carpal tunnel syndrome and therefore extending your professional career. I thank you all very much for spending this time with me today, and if you'd like, we're going to have a quick little demonstration on troubleshooting as well as frequently asked questions with Linda Vandeper, CEO of Paradise Dental Technologies, right after this. Again, thank you and aloha.